Welcome to the J Files. I'm your host, Jaden Cornelious. For thousands and thousands of years, stories of the supernatural, of the spirit realm, of shape-shifting, of extraterrestrials, of ghosts, of haunted places, and of communication with the dead, us humans have found completely fascinating. Most people, whether believers or skeptics, find the experiences of the things that go bump in the night completely and utterly captivating. But the age-old question lies whether the alleged paranormal event that witnesses have claimed to experience are real. Now, I don't doubt that many people believe what they have experienced is a paranormal event. Really is what you believe to be real, right? I hope you enjoy this show. Please subscribe, please share, and please comment. And if you have had a paranormal experience and you wish to be on the show, please get in touch. Enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Mara. I live in the West Country. Okay. I'm going to share with you today a not very pleasant story about that I had with something that was probably not a ghost, but more akin to an entity. And this happened, it must be over 20 years ago now. I was in a very strange relationship with a very strange person, and I started to notice that when he was due to arrive, there would be noises and things going on in the house, which I put down to imagination, bit sort of looking around, seeing what was going on. And over time, it started to develop. So we would be sat watching a movie, and then we'd look to the kitchen and there'd be an open drawer, or one of the cupboard doors would be open when I'm a bit obsessive about making sure that everything's closed when I leave the kitchen. I never leave a door open. And so I was constantly sort of getting up from the couch to go and close drawers. And this started to happen more and more and more. But I'd be in the other room, I'd come out and then drawers open in the kitchen. Well, we separated, and I thought, well, maybe it's just him, maybe it came along with him. But it stayed, it didn't leave. And I can remember one particular evening I was watching something. It was a warm evening, nice balmy summery evening, and it was very, very cold in the room in the lounge where I was, and I ended up with a heater on and a blanket, and I could see my breath in the air. And I'm starting to think then, this isn't cool. This isn't right. So I buried my head in the sand for a while. And that didn't happen, and nothing happened for probably 2 or 3 weeks. And then I started to see it, and I started to get a sense of it at the top of the stairs. Then I could see it out of the corner of my eye. Then I would get a sense of someone sitting in a chair. And this went on and on and on. And I was thinking, I need to do something, not sure what to do about it, because people are crazy when you say this stuff. So again, I left it, and it was only when my kids started seeing it, sort of sidling up to me in the morning and saying, "Mum, were you in my room?" And I said, "No." And they would say that they had a sense of something hanging in the corner of the room. At this point, I thought, yeah, this is going to stop now. This was months down the line of me seeing things flying past my peripheral vision. And it was always very dark, a sense of there being almost like a dark gap in the air. I don't know if that makes sense, almost like there's a little black hole there. But it wasn't that it was defined, it was just a sense of it all the time. And anyway, my late brother, who was an occultist and had done a lot of work with a monk in the past, had a bit of experience of these kind of entities pitching up. Oh, and the other thing was I was parked in a car park and it was late, and I'd got in the car and I'd seen this thing standing in some woodland, and I was thinking, oh my God, it's following me around. It's actually not just in my house. So anyway, I got my brother over and I was very vague. I said, I just want you to come and have a look at the house, because I didn't want to tip him off. You see what I mean? I didn't want him to go, oh yeah, it's definitely haunting. And he came and he went, oh my God, what's going on here? And he said, how long has this been going on for? And of course, by that time, it was a fair few months. And he said, oh, you should call me because this isn't good. It feels really nasty. Anyway, he ended up doing a ritual and he completely cleansed the house, and he left some kind of, I don't know what you'd call them really, amulets, or something like that in the building, and actually pinned in quite a prominent place. And he said, right, we'll leave it, we'll see what happens, and if anything else happens, I'll have to come back, but I might have to bring someone with me, which was a bit of a scary thought, but he was taking it really, really seriously, maybe in a way that I should have done at the get-go, when it was just tinkling noises and little bangs, and I didn't. But anyway, I mean, the long story short is that this had gone on, and I think that in hindsight, had I dealt with it at the beginning, it wouldn't have got strong enough to manifest in the ways that it had. That was scary, and it has always left me with a sense of, do you know what, you shouldn't really take these things lightly, you shouldn't really shrug it off, because not everything that comes is a benevolent force, so you have got to be guarded and aware. But nothing ever happened after that. The house was much lighter, the kids didn't report anything, and I said, if you see anything like that again, tell me. Nothing. Shortly afterwards, we did move, and nothing came with us, and hopefully the people that moved in there had nothing either. But yeah, that is my story, and I'm hoping it hasn't freaked everybody out too much, but that was my experience over several months.